if an employer, including a big company, wants to retain staff, what can be done? Yeah, it's an interesting question. Um, if, like me, you go onto LinkedIn quite a lot, which I'm likely to do because of the way that I do my business, and I find LinkedIn a very useful tool or aid my business on so many different reasons. Yeah, more so than Facebook. Sorry, Facebook, but but yeah, how can any employer keep staff happy? Pay could be a factor. Well, obviously, yeah, we don't all go to work because we love it. I don't know about Steve, but yeah, as much as I enjoy my job sometimes or jobs, yeah, the bottom line is I'm there for remuneration. Somebody is giving me back some money, my time. Yeah. But there could be other things that make people want to stay, remain, consider their position, as it were. Uh, I mean, maybe, yeah, companies should be looking at the overall structure of the organization. I'm avoiding using managers so much. Yeah. Because this is my personal experience. I've had some good managers in difficult situations. Um, I've had some reasonable managers. I can't think of any really bad managers I've ever had in my past. I certainly wouldn't name them on a podcast. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's been inferior. And I look at myself when I've been a manager, things, yeah, sometimes you've got to be inward looking as well. Um, but yeah, when I look at it, what can be done in an organization, and this includes managers as well, to, if you like, make it a better place to be. One could be empowerment of people. There is an expression I grew up with. Yeah, I have all the responsibility in the world, but no authority. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously this means you're given a list of instructions, go do. And then you're given, yeah, well, how do I do it? Or not how do I do it? Yeah, they have a defined way of doing it, which may or may not be appropriate. And there are companies out there that have a pro forma of how you do it, or form of how you do things. Is it fair? Yeah, is the way you operate your company fair for everyone? Okay, pay is one thing. Sometimes could say, oh, it's not fair. This person gets paid more than me. There may be other reasons for that. Yeah. And we all have the ability to hopefully negotiate our own salary, unless there is a structure involved. Yeah. Yeah, I know very often, yeah, sections of society complain about this. Integrity. Does the company encourage integrity? Responsibility within its staff. Okay, honesty to a point of serious thing. Yeah, how straight are things? Obviously, there are times when when a company, an employer, can't necessarily communicate everything that's happening down to the staff level, on the ground, as it were. And there are very good reasons for that. There are probably times when, yeah, the way they behave could be better. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is always an argument to be had. Yeah. The other thing is personal growth within an organization. Do the staff feel they have adequate support and training? Training is always interesting. How do you train someone? You can only really train someone who wants to learn. Yeah, I could give people manuals. I could send people on courses. If they don't want to learn themselves, it should be a 50-50 thing. I'll pay for your training. You got to learn. You got to prove yourself as well. Yeah. You're just not going to be there because of any other reason. Yeah, you can pass the courses and you might not still need a little bit of help with the job, mentoring or something. Yeah, although mentoring is again an interesting thing. But yeah. Yeah, mentoring, we used to have apprenticeships in the UK. They're still coming back. There's still some exist, which was useful, where the older person would, yeah, be given a younger person to take under their wing, sometimes. mixed feelings about this. Sometimes this older or more experienced person could teach the younger person bad habits, and when the younger person pushes back against that, not push back literally, suggests otherwise, they can and get themselves into a little bit of hot water with the mentor. Again, this could come down to other reasons: culture within the company, support, ideas. The other thing is listening, communication. Some people separate this. I think it's important to say listening is part of the communication process. If a member of staff, there shouldn't be, I do believe to a point that when you're on a project, particularly, or if you're employed by someone, we're all in it together. Everybody, from the chief executive down to the cleaner, is responsible for the success of this business to a greater or lesser degree. To say not my job and sort of above my pay grade, whilst that's true, if you have an idea, it should be an encouragement to actually be able to express it. Maybe there could be a reward or some kind of acknowledgement, the fact you have contributed to the success of something, as an individual. It's an interesting one. I have thrown it out to business people I teach, and they've gone away and considered it, especially in Brazil, where there can be a thing of apathy. I'm not going to do that. Nobody ever takes any notice of me. If you can encourage your staff to do different things, and I can give an example. Many years ago, I was watching a documentary about a design house based in the UK, an architect's office. And this architect, he would put a print at the end wall. And when people walk by, he would encourage people to, I don't know, mark on it or suggest ideas, thinking. I don't know if you had a symbol where you could put your signature next to it if you did something, or how it worked. But he encouraged total engagement with everyone. And it kind of encouraged people, I suppose. And you look at the requirements of your members of staff. For example, retaining staff obviously is investment. It should be something as simple as having a decent coffee machine or for coffee facilities. Meeting in the coffee room or the mess room or whatever is a good place to actually to encourage team building. People like to talk. It's where sometimes problems get resolved. I've seen this happen. The water cooler syndrome, as it were. People go there. You see somebody going there who's all right, Bob. I've got this problem. Have you? There's a organisation in London called the Francis Crick Institution, who have different people from, there are a medical research place, but they encourage people from different disciplines to pass each other and talk, communicate, problem solve collectively rather than in isolation. I saw it again. I saw it on TV, and I thought that's an interesting notion. That's one thing. I mean, it's simple investment, not expensive. You don't need to really, really be expensive. The other thing is working mothers. Half the potential workforce, are still women. A lot of us like the idea of families. I'm afraid in today's world, a single salary family income doesn't always support mortgages and everything else. Maybe look at it, affordable childcare, possibly have a subsidized or a reasonably priced creche on the premises, or somewhere the child can, the mother can be the child, that she's near the mother, she's near the child. Should be called if there's an emergency. Something like this. I've probably paid for retainer on some people to staff this creche. I think some companies do it. Again, I've not done extensive research into it. I think that's an interesting notion. And obviously for men as well. sometimes, yeah, the men might need it as well. And also, I mean, now there's more and more on LinkedIn and other places and the sites about it, what we call emotional intelligence, which covers all the above, which covers everything from human resources. Okay, we're talking about human resources, but they're the people that should be looking at this. Directors and everything else want to increase productivity, maybe some ideas. It's easy to write an idea and put it onto a website about emotional intelligence. It's probably a lot more difficult to implement it, or not so difficult as people may think. Well, over to you, Steve. Agree, disagree with anything I've said, or any other suggestions or ideas? You come from a slightly different.
It's not that I agree or disagree. I just might have a different way of
Yeah.
approaching what you were saying.
Mm.
So I'm going to make myself really unpopular on LinkedIn. Right?
Really? Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. LinkedIn is basically it's a marketplace.
Yeah.
And so for people to put on their personal profiles with their curriculums on LinkedIn, trying to make these contacts, it's a little bit like going down that street in Amsterdam where all the ladies are in the windows with the red lights,
Yeah.
trying to make their contacts. They're showing their curriculum,
Yeah.
what they're not wearing,
Well, yeah.
and they're trying to make contact with other people, like-minded people, who can employ them, basically.
That's true.
And
yeah.
the thing about LinkedIn is that once you put your curriculum on LinkedIn, you're saying one of two things. You're saying either I am unemployed, looking for a position, or I am unsatisfied with the position I have, therefore I'm looking for an alternative. I don't think that anybody would put their profile with the curriculum on LinkedIn if they were all hunky dory where they are, making a nice fantastic wage. Me personally, I'm not even part of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Simply because of that.
Well, yeah, with LinkedIn, someone like me, you leave your CV static or you keep it updated, and it's kind of accepted by employers. That's what you do. It can actually benefit your employer as well because you put next to them, and then sometimes they have links through to the employer. So I look at it that way. Yeah.
But once again, you're looking for something that isn't what you yourself are doing. It isn't. I can understand your part because you're always on the lookout for new clients.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's all right. Basically, what you're saying is I don't have enough clients at the moment. I'm always looking for more.
Well, yeah.
Because if you're inundated, then
well, yeah.
In theory, you wouldn't be looking for more. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just about LinkedIn. Let's move on from that, because let me just change my eyes again because I've written things down here and I can't read with it.
Yeah.
Look, the question was, how do employers maintain their employees? Right. And basically, they need to provide job satisfaction. Right. How do you keep your employees from going on LinkedIn and stay with you? It's job satisfaction. How can they do this job satisfaction? How can they make this happen? Well, like you said, make the working environment agreeable. You can entice your employees, with benefits. In the old days, if you were sort of middle managing, or they used to offer a company car until the government came in and cut that one out. Right. In Google, in the Google offices, they have a lounge where you work as much as you want, and the rest of the time you're playing snooker or chatting with your colleagues, just to keep the atmosphere all relaxed. However, there is another side to that, is that you have you have to produce.
Yes,
You
definitely.
can't just hang around there,
Mm.
just being a hang
Well,
arounder.
Yeah, yeah. Just yeah.
Others offer health schemes, especially in the United States
Mm.
and here in Brazil.
Yes.
They offer private healthcare, you know. So, if you can make your employee happy and that make them go home feeling happy, content,
Mm.
not actually feeling happy, but just being content
Yes, yeah.
with
Yeah.
their lot,
Mm.
that's going to help you an awful lot.
Mm.
That also is one of the reasons why I don't really like work agencies.
Mm.
Like I said, your employer needs to have a feel of their employees, and you
Yeah.
don't always get that through a temping agency.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
In terms of remuneration, that is a very it's a very personal thing. I wouldn't even say if it was a class thing. They have like a certain if you are doing this certain job,
mm.
then the tabella the going rate is such and such.
Yeah.
However, if you excel in what you're doing,
Mm.
there's no reason why you can't turn around to your employer and say, look, I'm excelling here. You know, give me something that might be above what
Yeah.
the going rate is. I'll be quite honest with you. I used to have a job at a place called, I'll say it because it was a long, long time ago, even
Yeah.
though the company still does exist.
Yeah.
There's a place in Watford called Computer Centre.
Mm.
And when I started there, I worked in what's called the returns department, where you
Mm.
put together, you fixed faulty
Yeah.
computers and you set them back out
Mm.
as refurbished computers and you sold
Yeah.
them. I was the highest paid worker in my office, simply because I negotiated with the boss.
Yes.
Nobody in my office knew.
Mm.
It wasn't their business. My boss said, "Don't tell any of the others." I said,
Yeah.
"Look, I'm here to make money. I'm not here to make friends." That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. Well, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Right, and none of the others knew.
Mm.
And whilst the others, one time to time, that people take a snide jab at people
Yeah.
in the offices. If they took a snide jab at me, I just used to laugh it off
Yeah.
and think, well, I'm getting paid twice as much as you, so I don't care.
Well, yeah.
Be snide away, snide away. That's why you only get half of what I do. You just
Yes.
snide you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, but there is, once again, the company wants results from you,
Mm. Yes.
right? So it's no use asking for a rise or asking to have preferential treatment if you aren't producing.
Yes.
You've got to prove your worth.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's something like 100 to 1.
Mm.
If you're producing in a company, you have to give the company 100 times more value than what your salary is, and
Mm.
then they'll consider giving you a pay rise.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's some ratio. I'm not quite sure what it is,
Okay.
but I know that I save Computer Centre millions,
Yeah, well.
millions, and we're going back 40 years, 40 odd
Mm.
years. I was a bit disappointed when you said that some people don't want to learn. Everybody wants to learn. Everybody wants to learn. It's some people don't want to teach or don't know how to teach is the problem.
Yeah.
Because there are so many different ways of teaching and only one way to learn.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And if the person isn't learning, that's probably because the teaching isn't done in the way that this person will take on board what is being taught. And so, it can be done in a formal way where you isolate the person, put them in a little room and say, right, these are the rules and these are the new rules and regs, right?
Mm.
Or it can be done in an informal way
Mm.
where it's just passed on through conversation.
Yeah.
As long as they're absorbing and you as a teacher, you understand that they understand what you're saying to them.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
So so there's no ambiguity. You know that they have learned what you have told them to do.
yeah. No, that is the fun. I mean, that's what everything we learned about teaching. I was. The example I was giving is I've had people in the past working for me or around me who had no interest in being where they are, particularly younger people. And the frustrating thing was, I mean, I learned one time that, I got myself into something where, I was always encouraged, you teach yourself, you prove it. If I didn't know something, I had to learn it quite quickly. And again, I was never backward myself in teaching people things. That I knew. Never thought, I'm not going to teach this person because of fear. But I have seen it happen. That somebody wasn't at all interested. They showed up, younger person sat in the corner of the mess room, didn't do anything.
Let me, it's funny because I was chatting to my son about this only yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you remember back at school? You said that you remember school a lot.
Yeah.
And there's always that one kid that's disrupting. He's always sat at the back, trying to disrupt the class.
Yeah.
Why does he do that? It's mainly because he can't absorb what is being taught to him.
Yeah.
So he does, the only thing he can do is try and drag everybody else down.
Yeah.
Instead of him rising up.
Mm.
So that kid needs to have a different approach applied to them, so that they will, in their way, learn.
Yes.
Learn, and you need to find that out. So these guys who are sat in the mesh room, isolated, not wanting to learn, it's because they've been taught in the wrong way.
Yes.
They can't grasp the method that is being taught to them. They can't grasp the information because the method of teaching that information to them, they can't accept that. It could be based on personalities. It could be based on situation. Could be based on pressure, just simple pressure, expectative, the expectation of them having to learn this by a certain time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but a lot of the times when I've learned something, like now, I'm learning Arabic.
Yeah.
Right. To me, when I started out, it was just a load of squiggles on a piece of paper.
Yes.
Until all of a sudden, you get that moment and it all falls into place, and you start to realize what's going on.
Yeah.
The first part, when it's all squiggles, and you're expected to speak Arabic fluently, you can get a bit frustrated.
Yeah, that
makes sense.
But that,
right. So that's the same thing. Eventually, these guys are sat in the corner in the metro. They're going to have their eureka moment, and all of a sudden, and a lot of them, taught the right way, become great craftsmen in what they do.
Well, I was going to say, normally it's not. I mean, yes, there is great pressure put on people to be academic when everyone's not academic. Again, talk about school and education. Carrying on through, I mean, in the workplace situation, there's a big difference, really. I mean, I did actually have some times where go-do. You'd see a piece of equipment you've never seen before. Sometimes you would have a manager above you who didn't have a clue about this piece of equipment either. I've had it where I've actually managed to write the script or write the instructions or write about it. This manager has then taken it and claimed it as their own. And I thought, oh, well, never mind. No sort of thanks mark or anything else. The criticism on my part, okay, I just keep going. I don't care. But like you say, it's I mean, again, it's engagement. Throughout life, things always got to be engaged, ideas. When we're coming up, contribution.
Let's go back to the podcast from last week. And we mentioned undercover boss. Right. And so the boss is made to do tasks.
Yeah.
that they should, it's their company,
Mm.
they should be able to master, one would have
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
But they're put in situations where they make themselves look stupid
Mm.
because they just don't know.
Yeah.
That not everybody is very nimble with the fingers.
Mm.
If you're in a sewing shop,
Yeah.
so a boss who probably hasn't touched a sewing machine for 30 years,
Yeah.
is not going to be as prolific as somebody who does it every day,
Mm.
right? And so you can't expect. It's not always true that
Yeah.
a manager is going to know everything,
Yes. Oh, yeah. Of course
you know,
not.
because they're paid to manage and not to do that particular task.
Yeah. But
Right.
yeah.
So let's keep going about the apprenticeships. Once again, it's the way that even in universities, you've got tutors and orienters
Mm.
that are going to orient you through. They're going
Yeah.
to show you the way through to get your course. If the older person, if the tradesman is not very good at nurturing his apprentice,
Yeah.
his apprentice will never become a tradesman.
Yeah.
On the contrary, the apprentice will reject
Mm.
their tutor, their orienter.
Yeah.
So it's once again, it's like it's coming back to it isn't the information
Mm.
that needs to be accepted by the apprentice. It's the way
Yeah.
the information. It's the teacher's style
Yes.
of right. Should companies listen to their employee? Of course. You struck the magic word communication.
Mm.
And communication isn't a one-way street.
Yes.
It's a two-way street.
Mm.
Right. And I think that it's important. It's important to get the feedback from your employees to your only way you're gonna know how they feel is by listening to them.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, by engaging, by
Mm.
speaking with them.
Mm.
Even some companies even have a social night.
Yeah.
So they can all get together and gripe about the manager, gripe about this, gripe about that.
Yeah.
But you take all that information and take it
Yeah.
back, and you try and work things through.
Mm.
It keeps everything running smoothly. Being acknowledged to boost the esteem of the worker, of the employee, happened to me. I was waiting for my cover to change shifts with, and they bailed and
Yeah.
didn't turn up. So I did a double shift. I stayed in place.
Yeah.
Nobody asked me to do it. It's just something that I did because
Yeah.
I didn't want to abandon post. And about 6 weeks later,
Mm.
I got this letter through the post.
Yeah.
From my boss,
All right.
thanking me and saying how much of a good professional I am, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Of course, it's nice to get these letters. It's nice to get these acknowledgements.
Yeah.
Right? But obviously, looking back, it was a ploy for him to keep me satisfied with what I'm doing. It's a
yeah.
job satisfaction
Yeah.
thing, But on the other hand, he could have said nothing and just left it at that. And
Yeah.
I don't think I would have complained much, but it's always good to get these things just to boost the ego a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it once when the project came in and the management sent a letter and put one on everyone's desk, just a uniform letter. One person says, "This doesn't pay for my beer." Yeah, meaning in itself, it's meaningless. Yeah, particularly it wasn't individual; it was a universal one. Now they just put it on the internet. Yeah, on the intranet. Sorry, intranet. Yeah,
Nothing better than receiving a letter.
yeah, yeah.
Internet email.
Yeah,
or
I know.
even just a page on the website.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the modern way. That's the modern way of doing it now. Yeah, I mean, now they're automated systems. We're going, dear Mark, yeah, we thank you for your efforts. And then, dear Chris, dear
Yeah.
Mary, dear, dear Vanessa. Yeah. Um,
You
yeah,
can
you all get,
CC it or CCC it
yeah,
and send it to everybody.
yeah, it's automatically put your name on it. Oh, thank you. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, the funniest thing I ever had, yeah, just changing the subject slightly to move on there, was when the project had failed and we all been made redundant, and then the chief guy was there. Was like, please don't take this personally. It's none of your fault. We're the ones down the road. They aren't. Yeah, yeah. I mean, how can you not take that personally? Yeah, I know there's no easy way to tell people they're no longer required, but yeah, it's
Yeah, but I think that's what's wrong with British industry.
mm,
If the company starts to fail, it's the worker, it's the end worker or the end employee that
yeah.
gets the sack.
It was actually a Canadian company, but yes, yeah, I know what you're
Well,
saying. Yeah, yeah, it's still based
really,
in the
it should
Unity.
be the managing or the directors that should have been sent down the road, because it's at the end of the day,
Yeah,
when a company makes profit,
mm,
they puff their chest out and say, "Yes, I did that."
yeah,
But when it's a huge loss,
yeah.
they'll blame it on the employee. Say,
Well, I mean, they're making it clear. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go into which company, which project, but
no,
basically, yeah.
no need
But
to.
it's
I think that's a mentality across the board.
yeah,
Having a graffiti wall, yeah. Um, I think Google's got one.
don't they? Oh,
A lot of companies do, where you can just let off steam. Like you said, tag it,
yeah,
put in ideas,
yeah,
put in put a little design.
mm,
Just it says a lot more about you, because if you make a design and it's a nice design, then people know that you've got an artistic flair.
yeah,
If you say something witty, they know that you've got a sense of humor.
yeah.
If you use something aggressive and slag somebody off, they know that you're not a very nice person.
Well, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Do we need anyone to actually? Do we need to tell anyone that? But yes, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, these are all innovations. I mean, obviously, it's a podcast. Is a podcast. Anyone that's listening to it, it's just we're brainstorming here, really. We're using experience we've had or know about. I mean, yeah, there's no absolute certainty, and we all know. I mean, you and I run businesses as well, or we got our own, but we know how difficult it is with just one or two people, or four people, as I've been involved with. Yeah, running a business we know is difficult for managers. You can make it easier for yourself. As I've always said, I come from engineering. I'd much rather have an engineering problem than a staff problem, a human problem, because yeah, either with engineering it works or it doesn't work. I might find a solution. There's no absolute when you've got so many staff of knowing what to do. But yeah, you can try and make. You're not going to make all the people happy. You're always going to have that one or two characters who are going to run around, yeah, um, moaning, complaining about everything.
but if the vast majority are happy,
No,
they can pull up one or two that are a
yeah,
bit
tell them to shut
difficult.
up. Yeah, really.
No, tell them to shut up.
Yeah,
It's just to make them see the positive side,
yeah.
or find out exactly
No,
what the gripe is.
yeah,
You know, you don't tell people to shut up. You want to know why they think like they do.
yeah. I'll do that for
Uh,
effect. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
one of the most important things about a company,
mm,
what a company can do,
mm,
is make sure that everybody knows how to do everybody else's job. It's only ever happened in two companies where I worked where we did that.
yeah,
So why do we need to learn everybody else's job? The most obvious one is if somebody calls in sick, you've
yeah.
got somebody fit
Well,
in
yeah,
straight away and do their job.
mm,
But also on a sort of more wider note,
yeah,
if you like, is that you understand the stress and strains of the person doing their job.
yes,
So, you know, you can understand more if a person gets naughty, especially if they're in a high pressure job,
Yeah.
which you yourself, when you're trained to do it,
Mm.
you found yourself under constant pressure.
Yeah.
Because when you're learning to do somebody's job, you're only on it for a month, you know, and you survive that month, and then you're off the job, and they get back onto
Yeah.
12 the other 11 months of the year.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually quite strange one day because I had an appraisal and the manager, he wasn't my biggest fan, but well, we got on all right, but yeah. And he said to me, he said, Mark, he says, your problem is you can do everything. The problem is you want to do everything. Yeah. That kind of stuck with me. Because yeah, okay, I was in the job. Yeah, I was running around doing everyone's job, trying to get my own job completed. I wasn't really in a position where I could delegate. That was the thing. So probably getting back to empowerment here. And it was probably pretty quicker for me to get something done and then move on with my own thing. And yeah, I was involved in a lot of things at the same time. I was a lot younger then, had quite a bit of energy. I mean, yeah, I could run around and yeah, could probably go out the night before, still going to work, still do a shift, things like this. Yeah.
You need to learn to delegate. You need
Yeah.
to learn to put yourself in a position where you can delegate. Because otherwise you're going to disappear up your own ass.
Oh yeah.
By doing that, thinking that you need to do everything because nobody else can do it is very dangerous, because you're just going to be like that little puppy dog that's chasing after its own tail.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that probably happens.
You have to break that cycle.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
In terms of creches in companies, it's okay if you're in an office sort of environment, but if you're like a factory, you know, which is very noisy, very stark. A lot of times it's very stark, full of machines, full of danger. Not a very good place to put a creche.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, what I'm saying is, yeah, have a supported creche. It doesn't have to necessarily be on the premises. It could be down the road a bit or somewhere else. Yeah.
Well, you've got to have to mount a new creche.
Yeah.
For your factory in that case, because there aren't that many creches that are adjacent to a factory.
Well, I'm not saying. Yeah. I mean, it does take a little bit of an initiative and thinking. I mean, most actually, when you're on most complex, you can get away, particularly now. I mean, factories aren't allowed to pump out noise that they used to. You're not going to have kids running around on the shop floor, I would hope.
With earmuffs on.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, it's prepping them. Getting
the nappies caught in the lathes.
Yeah, yeah. Now they're asking 22-year-olds if you've got 10 years experience, or no, 20 years experience. Can you apply, or can you just sort of start them early? But yeah, it's no, I'm just sort of saying it's something that could be considered. I mean, I'm not suggesting for a minute that everything is going to be easy.
I think it depends on what type of job it is and where the job is.
Well, if there's a demand for it as well.